This episode is a really fun one. I've been looking forward to this for quite a while. It's a gentleman that I formed a relationship with, I think about 5 years ago now. And a lot of you are going to know him. You're going to see his face, hear his voice, and you're going to be like, hey, I know that guy. I trust that guy. And without further ado, it is the president of Marquette Savings Bank, Mr. John Dill. John.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me. The
looking
youngest
forward
of
to it.
5, and believe it or not, the oldest person in my family, my brother Tom, is 4 years and 2 weeks older than me. So my parents had 5 kids, 4 and under.
Wow. I'm trying to do the math here, and it doesn't seem to be working out. I know the gestational period for humans is 9 months,
Yeah,
but
I can give you the dates,
So,
but I mean, if you had to describe your wife in one word, what would it be, and explain why?
one word. Ooh.
I'm not trying to make you veto anything.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to think of the word. I mean, there's a lot of words that I'm gonna list a bunch of words, then I'm gonna land on one. All right. So she's extremely patient. She's extremely understanding. She's she's compassionate. She's empathetic. And she's loving. So those are 5 words. I would say my best interpretation of Karen Molly is she's understanding. And what I mean by that is, and all those other things come in underneath that, right? Like she can be understandingly loving. She can be understandingly compassionate, empathetic. My wife will, no matter who she's talking to, try to understand where they're coming from. I tend to ask a lot of my guests this, like, what's the favorite part of your job that you do on a day-by-day basis? And it's a 2-part question. And what's the least favorite part of your job that you do on a day-by-day basis?
So I can answer that question with the same, both those questions with the same answer. Dealing with people.
So if you could transport yourself to any kind of point in history to meet kind of one individual, but in one location, right? So it's a 3-part question, right? Time in history. So I'll just give you an example. I want to meet Michael Jordan, but I want to meet him in ancient Rome at this particular location, like at the Colosseum. Who would you want to meet? Where would you want to meet him? And at what era would you want to meet this person? And what would you ask them?
So you're going to say this is a cop-out answer, but this is there's one person, and that's my grandpa Dill. I never had the opportunity to meet him. He died of a heart attack at his desk at work 6 months before I was born. So I never knew him, and my grandma Dill loved her, just absolutely loved her. She was that woman, you'd shake her hand, and she'd shake your hand, and it was like, I don't want to fish, just tremendous individual. And so talking about going off to college, and my brother Jerry and I, we went down to say goodbye to Grandma the night before we were leaving. And my grandmother lived on 4th between German and Holland, I think. French and Holland, and right across the street from St. Patrick's. And my grandmother was very big and active in St. Patrick's Church, as was my dad. And I remember going there, and my grandmother was a big house, and she lives there all by herself. And I can still see it to this day, and I almost get emotional, but knocking on the door, and Grandma answered, and I wanted to meet my grandfather then.
Oh.
So, but I want to meet my grandfather.
Tell me all about it, Doc.